All right, let's see. Did we get this done right? Did I finally get an episode kicked off correctly? Hopefully folks out there in the audience can hear us. I know there's a little bit of a lag between what we're inputting and folks seeing it out there, so it'll take a second to get some of that confirmation. But fingers crossed, can everybody give me a quick little something in chat to make sure that you can hear me? I'm going to assume so until somebody tells me otherwise. All right, so that being said, Welcome to the October 2022 edition of the Windows Insider Webcast. Super duper excited to be here. Stoked. I don't want to steal Panos' word and say that I'm pumped, even though I am pumped, so I'm just going to say I'm stoked. Right? He pretty much should trademark that word at this point because it pretty much belongs to him. It's been a couple months since we've done one of these, so I will just say thank you to everybody who's in attendance today. You'll see me pointing back and forth because of split monitors and all that kind of fun stuff. But we love doing these. We love that you make the time to come and join us. Today is no different than other episodes in the fact that we're here to have some fun. Hopefully you'll learn a thing or two. We got a couple big topics today. So number one, if you look at the little description down below the video here on YouTube, you'll notice that we'll be talking about the 8th anniversary of the Windows Insider program. Woot, woot, yeah. And then there was a little secondary thing down there that says we have some interesting product team information to share. And I'm not going to spoil it. We're going to talk about the 8th anniversary first, and then we'll transition over into that. So we have some special guests waiting in the wings for after we cover this initial segment. So real quick, just out of, I don't know, habit or, maybe it's just the right thing to do. We'll do a quick round table for the four of us that you see on the screen. Since I'm already talking, I'm Jason Howard, Senior Program Manager here on the Windows Insider team. Happy to be here. Again, thank you for joining us. We'll go kind of clockwise around the screen. Amanda, you are up next from my perspective.
Hi, I'm Amanda Langowski. I'm a Principal Product Manager here at Microsoft, and I lead the Windows Insider program.
Awesome. Continuing around, Jen, you are up next.
Hi, I'm Jen, the only gentleman at Microsoft, as I like to say. I am a Senior Program Manager on the team that owns a lot of the Windows UI you see when interacting. I'm really tired. And I apparently missed the memo on the background, but you'll just have to believe that it's there. And I look at your feedback every day. I'm one of the people who triages your feedback every day. And with that, I'm just passing it to Brandon because I'm too tired to speak. So
awesome. Brandon.
I'm Brandon. I'm Senior PM in the Windows Insider program team. You all know me. Resident nerd. Yeah, I'm also tired, so I'm kind of, yeah.
It's funny. I like how we've all kind of picked up like our random areas of specialty and nicknames over the years. We've all been doing this together long enough. It's kind of funny how that works. So as we kick off this episode, right, as I mentioned before, one of the big things, if you don't happen to be on Twitter, hopefully you saw our newsletter this month. If you haven't, please go check the email inbox for the account that you have registered to the Windows Insider program. There is a newsletter sitting in there. It's probably how you found out about this webcast, unless you follow us on Twitter at Windows Insider, by the way. And, at the beginning of this month, we hit the 8th anniversary of the Windows Insider program. It's really interesting saying that out loud because all it does is make me feel old.
It does make me feel old. I had a realization. I had my 14-year anniversary at Microsoft was in September, and I realized that, I started looking into feedback. Feedback started being my gig around 2015, which means effectively it's been half my job at Microsoft, which is crazy. The time has gone by like that.
Yeah. So I'm going to in chat over here. It's going to take me a second to grab it and post it in here. It was linked to in the newsletter, but we did release a special wallpaper as part of the 8th anniversary. and I'm trying to find it in my team's chat history here so that I can share it with everyone in YouTube. So here we go. I have the link. I'm copying it. You will see it. It is out there on the Insider website. Flipping back and forth. This is fun trying to talk and multitask at the same time. There you go. It is in chat now. If you visit that website, you can go and download that wallpaper. We would love to see you representing that. Use it on your desktop. Use it in your Teams meetings, whatever, however you would like to represent. We fully support you in that endeavor. In honor of the 8th anniversary, there's a question that I want to ask each of you. And I'll give an answer to this as well. But I'm going to surprise you because, to the folks that are tuning in, I didn't tell anybody this question was coming, right? Just like didn't get the wallpaper memo. Sorry about that, Jen. It was literally just happenstance. This wasn't coordinated. We just all kind of did it. There's a question that I want to ask. So every year as we've hit the different anniversary milestones, 5, 6, 7, and now we're on number 8. There's always something new that has popped up during the year. And my question to each of you is, what is something that you have learned in the past year? Either related to the Insider program specifically or about Windows kind of in general. I guess I'll put you on the spot first, Amanda, right? It's always fun.
Good. Okay.
It's always fun putting your boss on the spot, right? See if I can get myself in trouble here. So we'll go clockwise around again. So yeah, Amanda, go ahead, please.
I think the thing that I learned about the Insider program this year is kind of a reflection of what we've seen in previous years, but we keep learning different stuff about it. And I think a lot about first the diversity in my own house, about how we use Windows and how we're constantly still learning from insiders, right? So even in my small little environment at home, I see how everyone in my family uses it differently, right? Like I am hardcore productivity, right? I do work, I manage calendars, I have all this sort of stuff. I have to manage the kids and stuff in my house. My husband also works at Microsoft, so he's kind of like a hardcore productivity guy as well. But then with our kids, they're all using it slightly differently. I have, one of my kids, Rory, is a gamer. Another one just loves storytelling and learning on YouTube. And my other daughter likes drawing apps and things like that. And so I just think of in this little pod about how we all use it differently, and how if you take the massive scale, I don't know why it comes up, but if you take that same sort of thing at scale, that's kind of what the Insider program is, right? So I honestly every time love seeing the insights and the feedback that people come, because people use it in so many different ways in so many different countries, and so many things that are important to them, that each time, especially as Windows 11 keeps evolving and putting out new features, I learned so much about how they're using it. And that's my favorite part of this program every day. It's just kind of that's that diversity at scale that we never would really always see internally, because we live and breathe it, but getting that sort of perspective for how people are using it is just my favorite part of this program. Makes me come to work every day, honestly, because of it.
Wow. I mean, for being
and you and I come for to hang out with you and Brandon and Jennifer and our other special guests, that too, of course. But sorry, it's a little bit more about the insiders for me today.
It's totally the webcast. It's all about the webcast, right? That's the highlight of each month here. For me, putting you on the spot, that was a really nice answer. But I mean, I guess that's why you're the lead of the program, because you're always thinking forward. And well, I appreciate you, Amanda. I'll say that. Thank you so much. Jen, going around the clock here. You are up next. How can I put you on the spot?
I was gonna say everything Amanda said. No, I guess I don't even know. What should I say I learned? I mean, if you look back to the beginning, I guess I would say I never really anticipated the sense of community that I was going to get from the Insider program. Way back before we started, I was a Redditor. I was a lurker. I didn't even post anything. I just vied on all the memes, I guess. And then at some point, I joined Twitter to help people out, and know, it's just like I've met so many people. I've made so many friends. I've learned so much about, as Amanda said, like how people use Windows and the different ways that people leverage what we have to offer. It is, I mean, especially in the pandemic times, like this community has just been a lot to me. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. Brandon, go.
Brandon, the microphone is yours.
Sorry, I've been trying to help in the chat. I don't know. I mean, Amanda and Jen and I've covered a lot of it too. I mean, the sense of community. It's great to hear from insiders about how the experiences they're trying out in the builds that we release, how excited they are, about them each week. Like every week, there's something new, and it provides energy of coming in, right? Like, how are folks, what are folks going to say about this? And it makes it fun developing the blog posts that we publish. And, Jen and I, we collaborate a lot on those notes too. And so like, we're like, oh, the insiders will love this, or the insiders will love that. And so,
yeah, we install the builds and we're like, oh my God, Brandon, I've wanted this forever. Like,
yeah. And so like, it's just, I don't know, just the excitement, and the passion that people have for even the little things, is really, really exciting. So it keeps things fun. And, my passion is telling people about the new stuff that we're releasing. And so, I find that really exciting. And to be 8 years in and still doing that and seeing all of the improvements, seeing how we went from Windows 10 to Windows 11, I'm having a blast with folks. So yeah.
Awesome. What's really interesting is I'm the person that posed this question, yet I can't claim that I sat there ahead of time and thought out my own answer. So, I could have prepared, but I didn't. That's what I'm really trying to say here. 8 years is a long time, right? To have had the privilege to be working on this team in this space, I've been at Microsoft for a little over 10 years, almost 11 now, right? That is a big chunk of my life that has been dedicated to this program, this company, to insiders kind of around the world. And, much like what, a few of you said, is like, I have a hard time envisioning having been doing something else over this time period, because this has been so much fun and there's been such a great learning experience. I will say, kind of like to the core of the question about the past year specifically, I'll kind of expand a little bit and then get right back to the point, is over the course of time, we've done a whole bunch of bug troubleshooting and feedback digging and all this kind of stuff, right? Done a lot of work to try to make Windows better and improve the experience, deliver new features and functionality and all of this. And one of the things that's really it's become more like distinct over the past year, is just how much Windows really has changed. And I don't just mean a lot of like the kind of the under the covers things of how the core of the OS functions with Windows 11, not to mention the obvious visual changes along the way. But this past week, as I'm having a conversation about like some of the big bugs that we've tackled in the past, we've written blog posts about some of them. And it's really been this point that set home about the size of the ecosystem of Windows, of the APIs that are opened up into the OS, the number of third-party software developers and engineers at companies literally all around the globe that write software that interacts with Windows, that comes together with the OS. So we have the changes that we've made in Windows, plus all these external experiences that come together that drive what users of this product do day in and day out, whether it's in their personal lives or their work lives. And all of this comes together, and it's really important that we try to drive as clean of an experience as possible, while at the same time making sure everybody continues to get the goodness that we deliver, hopefully on a week-over-week basis, right? That's one of our big goals, is to try to deliver you builds with a generally somewhat regular cadence here. And personally very specific to me is the concept of keeping folks updated. You know, we've hit some snags along the way. You know, we've done some targeting changes of how we deliver builds and things of that nature. I'm sure folks have seen, you know, the small updates that go out where we talk about, hey, it's a servicing pipeline verification. We're not delivering new features or whatnot. We're just testing, make sure we can deliver those updates. All of these things come together to help make sure that as we keep redefining the experience that you have, that we can keep getting those things to you. And so that's one of the places that, really starting probably 6 months ago, and it'll be accelerating kind of through the rest of this year and into 2023. I'm sure you'll hear me talk about it some more. It's really about making sure folks can continue on this journey with us, no matter what we have up our sleeves, and there's always something fun coming. I just want to make sure that folks that choose to spend their time and engage with us can stay on that same path, and that we keep bringing you new and innovative things along the way. I don't know. I think I was probably a little long-winded, but there you go. One other question that I do want to ask, right? So here we go. Surprise question number 2. Is there anything you want to innovate or change in the coming year?
In general, or
I don't want my response to this to get me in trouble.
Yeah.
The thinking begins, right? You get the chin gesture, you get the strange looks.
I feel like my answer to this wouldn't be a surprise at all. Like I want to keep evolving Windows based on feedback. I think I love that the updates we included with the Windows 11 22H2 update. Like, we did so much, and I know there's like the big things, but there's just a ton of little things too, and like performance improvements and animations and all this stuff. Like, and I just want to keep making Windows 11 the best for everyone. Your feedback matters. Please do file your every webcast. We need to have this.
I'm gonna create a specific scene that's like, please file feedback. Use the feedback hub. Right? We talk about it anyway. I might as well give it its own special presentation here. Amanda or Brandon? I know. Again, I'm sorry. I'm putting y'all on the spot, but
That's okay. No, I think there's always, I think it's really important that I don't know if like everyone knows, like when we put out those insider surveys, we spent a lot of time looking at that data to see really what is driving people wanting to participate in the program. And so just like we reach out to feature teams and understand like what new stuff that we're going to be previewing from week to week and developing, the comms and the interest and the engagement in that, we want to also improve the program. And so it's always this blending of like, how can we continue to expose, more clarity, I think, in terms of some of our processes, as well as kind of like how we develop, because it is, honestly, it's amazing that we're able to get code checked in on a Friday and a lot of times, and then like within like 3 days, like it's just out. And I think that I just look at that all the time of like, how can we get that even closer so people are even closer to the development process? And, we're doing, a few different things at a time, right? And I really, at first, I think we were a little bit nervous about doing kind of more, incubating kind of early ideas. We're definitely feeling a lot more comfortable around that. And so how do we kind of continue that sort of journey with, more clarity for folks? So that's something that I'm looking into a lot in the next year as we think about planning and whatnot.
Awesome. Thank you. Brandon. You got that very intent, focused look. He's probably writing some comms. He's probably
no. I am helping I'm maintaining the chat, so I'm focusing on that. I don't have anything more to add really than, it's really just staying on top of making sure that we're communicating all of the things that insiders want to hear about and take notice of, get feedback on. So like I continue to just invest a lot in like ways that we can continue to amplify that. And going forward, to Amanda's point, making things more easier and understandable is always something that I've been working at. So yeah.
I have to answer my own question, I guess. it goes to something that we've kind of already started, but it's, as we're getting into it, it highlights how important it is. One of the big things that we've obviously done over the years is, engage on Twitter. Jen spends a lot of time on Reddit, like she mentioned earlier. We have the Answers forum, answers.microsoft.com, in case you didn't know, where we engage and we listen, we ask questions, we'll post up surveys, we do fun stuff, in partnership with our marketing teams or whatnot. One of the things that's really important is, gathering some of those insights. And especially, if there's somebody's having trouble installing a build or something of that nature, we'll get an error code or whatnot. And it can be very difficult at times to scope something to say, how big of an impact is this? So one of the things that we've been doing we do things behind the scenes, not that they're necessarily secret, but is to try to see, if something's popping up. One of the important things we need to do is see what the impact is. Is this one person that's hitting an issue? Is it 10 people? Is it hundreds of people? What is the scale of whatever the situation may be? And, I mentioned currency, or keeping folks up to date, staying on current builds is the right way to term it. And, sometimes we see some of those deployment errors where some of them are, one-time issues, just like my favorite one, the C1900101 issue that tends to be a driver.
Generic.
Jen's
Isn't
face,
that the
right?
generic?
That literally sums it up right there. That is absolutely it, because it's troublesome, right? And it takes a lot of in-depth troubleshooting to get down on one person's machine to figure out, is it a driver? It most likely is. And which one is it? Because it's usually not a Windows driver. And so having an understanding of the issues that users are facing, especially as we try to deliver features and updates and new content, that goes a long way. And that's something that I intend, and I am, and will continue to focus on into the coming year, of making sure that, we can get signals as quickly as we can to help insiders who are potentially hitting bugs or snags or update issues or whatever the case may be. That's really a big focal point for me, and it's something hopefully you've seen in the past, right? We take this feedback very seriously, and it's hopefully a trend that you will continue to observe and notice as we move forward into the future. I love doing these little retrospectives. These questions are always fun.
I want to say so much more, but I know you have other stuff planned. So
Yeah. And we'll make time at the end of the session for Q&A, right? We'll definitely do that. I do want to say, right, I want to be respectful over time. Amanda won't be able to stay with us for the entire webcast, the joys of meetings and conflicts and all that kind of fun stuff. So, we tried to shovel the schedule around so she could join us for as much of it as possible. Amanda, thank you for letting me put you on the spot with some hopefully not too bad.
No, they weren't bad. Questions. I'm excited. I'm still going to read the comments my next meeting just to make sure I'm keeping up with it. But okay. We'll be focusing on both. But okay. I'm really excited. Like it's always, I'm just really proud of like how, the program has matured in the last 8 years, and just the learning, right? We still have a lot more to kind of go to, to make things better. But it's been exciting the last few years watching as we develop Windows 11 and we kind of try a bunch of different things and be comfortable with that. And having the insiders with us on this journey really does bring energy to the teams who are developing as well. And so, they want to know, like, when is it going to land? When can we talk about it? When can we start to see feedback? And so every day, like, we still see that, like, really. And so it's been my pleasure to kind of be a part of this program. So thanks, guys.
Well, thank you, Amanda. With that, I'm going to transition over. So now, you'll see myself, Brandon, and Jen. If you have other questions or things for Amanda, feel free to put them in chat, or at the end of the episode, I'll put our Twitter handles in there, and you can do some outreach that way as well. So shifting topics, let's just jump right into the other side of things, right? In the comments about this episode, I'm just going to read it real quick. It said, we'll also have a product team with some interesting information to share. So that being said, let's get to it. Dun, da, da, da. And let me offer you a quick welcome. You will see 4 new faces across the top of the screen: Marisa, Oliver, Tony, and Albert. Please give a warm welcome, whether you clap and chat or you kind of cheer virtually. for the Touch Optimized Taskbar folks. Welcome aboard. Thank you all for making the time. Thank you for being here. We're definitely excited to have you.
Thank you, Jason. Should we do introductions or should I just kind of, okay.
Let's quick intros, and then I will pass the mic to you. So since, well, you are, my typical left to right thing, you are actually in the top left corner. So Marisa, please introduce yourself.
Thank you. My name is Marisa Cantu. I am a senior PM product manager. I work on the core experiences team, and I specifically look at touch experiences. So that is why I have this today to show. Also, just a caveat, I am getting over a cold, so this is not how my voice normally sounds. And hopefully I don't have to go off camera and sneeze or anything, but yeah, you guys don't have to bear with me.
No judgment on this end, I promise. Absolutely none.
Thank you.
All right, so next up, it'd be you, Oliver.
Hello, my name's Oliver Jones. I'm a senior software engineer on the Windows Core Experiences team. I've been at Microsoft like 9 years, which with some quick math, that's 1 year longer than the Windows Insider program. Been around long enough I remember that launching. So crazy how time flies. And yeah, of those 9 years, the last 2 I have spent working on the taskbar.
Awesome. Tony, if you don't mind going next.
Okay. Hi, I'm Tony Willie. I'm a principal software engineer. I mainly focused for the last 3 years has been on the system tray, and so I've been working on that. I've been at Microsoft 31 years. So
wait. Hold on. I'm going to derail this for a moment. Albert, this is not to downplay you at all. Please forgive me for this. Are you serious? You're in the 30 club?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
actually working on 32.
So just the reason I'm making a big deal, I'm literally having a genuine reaction here. Like, for folks out there, they're making it this long at Microsoft is a remarkable accomplishment. Like, if you look at how long the company's been around, the number of folks that hit the 30-year mark with this company, it's always this big surprise, right? You see how big my eyes are getting. You can see how I'm reacting. It's a big deal.
Donuts.
Right? If you look at how the company has changed, the OS has changed, like all the things that we have done over the years, right? 30 years is a lot of time to see a lot of change. Tony,
Do you have the crystal?
Yeah.
Are you at the office? Do you have the crystal?
It's in my office actually. I'm at home right now. So.
Oh my goodness. I will just, it's not 30-year anniversary right this moment. You've already had that, but I will just say, number one, congratulations. Like, that is a gigantic accomplishment. But number two, like, the amount of impact that you have had to have over the years to not only see everything that's taken place, but to continue to contribute to that journey along the way. I just want to say thanks. Like, I had no idea. But this is a super big deal. So folks externally, like, pardon me for fawning over this for a moment, but massive credit where credit is due. And thank you for joining us today. Really, really appreciate it. Like, this is awesome.
No, thank you. No, I love Windows. So,
Tony, that also means you've probably passed the milestone that you've now worked at Microsoft longer than probably some of the people on your team are years old.
Yes. Yep.
Oh goodness. And Albert, please allow me to come back to you. I apologize. This was not to discount that. I had a moment there, as you could probably tell. If you could take a moment, introduce yourself as well.
Yeah, I'm never following that. So I don't know how to do this.
Albert's awesome. I will introduce you.
Yeah. Hi guys, I'm Albert Yee. I lead the motion design team on Windows, and I've been at Microsoft for 8 years, and so my team.
Yeah, all of those sexy animations, craftsmanship, it's your thing, and I love you for it.
So my team really tries to push for polish and animations and trying to bring our operating system into the modern age. So nice to meet y'all.
There's definitely been some changes to the look and feel of the OS. So It's at risking overstating the obvious, it's pretty apparent that you can see some of the changes that have come into play here. A lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of effort here. So, well, thank you for the introductions. And I'm sorry that it took us so far off course, but I'm really glad to have each of you here today. So Marisa, I know you've got some cool stuff to talk about. So rather than me continuing to chatter on, please take the mic. The stage is yours.
Okay, I don't see the screen that folks can see. Can we have the video teed up? Like, can we get that? Is that okay?
Yeah.
And then I'll and let me just, while you're doing that, I'll kind of explain what we're gonna see here. So
yeah, I will work on that right now.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, not to put you on the spot. This is called the Touch Optimized Taskbar. And so when we think about the taskbar, obviously that includes a system tray. And so this is the second time that we came to WIP. We were actually in WIP earlier in the year with the version of it, and we've done a bunch of updates since then. You will see that it has two states. There is a expanded state where everything gets bigger so that you can use it for touch better. And then in a collapsed state, that's whenever everything gets out of your way so you can feel confident holding your device. It only works on 2-in-1 devices. And so when I say 2-in-1, I mean like convertible or detachable device or a tablet device. It doesn't work on laptops or desktops. And so the way that we built it is when you take a 2-in-1 and you disconnect the keyboard, it will automatically transition to this touch optimized version. And so I think if we play the video, we'll get to see that, and then we can answer questions, but we'll get to see the transition from desktop to tablet posture, and then the different transitions and animations throughout while you're using it. So I think if we can watch the video, I think we'll be good to see the whole experience, and then we can answer questions.
This is a look at the Touch Optimized Taskbar. Here I have my 2-in-1 device with a keyboard attached. You see the familiar taskbar, which is designed for mouse. Now I'll fold back my keyboard so I can use my device as a tablet. Watch the taskbar. It automatically transitions to the new Touch Optimized version. This taskbar has two states, collapsed and expanded. In the collapsed state, the taskbar is minimized so I can focus on my current task, and it removes the risk of accidentally invoking the taskbar when I'm holding my device. Note that in this state I can still see critical status icons, like the time and battery level. When I need to use the taskbar, I can swipe up from the bottom, and I see the expanded state with the touch-friendly interface. In this state, we've increased the icon size so you can feel confident using touch to launch an app. Oh, and when you have no windows running on your desktop, we'll also automatically expand the taskbar, saving you the extra step of swiping. As part of this work, the team rebuilt the system tray and many parts of the taskbar so that the animations feel fluid and reliable. See how the existing edgy gestures work fluidly with the Touch Optimized Taskbar. And when I'm ready to use my device as a laptop again, I can unfold my keyboard and the taskbar automatically transitions back.
Okay. Yeah, so what you saw there was, you saw my hands, and so that was sort of one long Scorsese shot that I did that in. So you might have seen because we're in WIP, like there's still some bugs that we're working through, and these guys can answer questions about any of that stuff. But yeah, what you saw there was sort of my hands and then the actual screen that was going on at the same time. So transitioning from desktop to tablet posture and seeing the taskbar go from your typical 48 pixel taskbar that's designed for mouse to the touch optimized version with those two different states so that you can really feel confident holding your device and then using it with like sloppy touch interactions, and then I think I showed off something wherein when you minimize all the windows on your desktop, we just automatically take the taskbar, we make it expanded just to save you that swipe. A lot of the time since the last time we went to WIP and this time has spent working on the animations and all those different sort of what we call flyout surfaces, but just all the surfaces that sort of are in relationship to the taskbar. So think of your start, quick settings, notifications, your widgets. We have spent a lot of time, everybody here on the call, part of the Future Crew, working on making sure that those are clean. You said something, Jason, earlier making sure that folks get as clean as an experience as possible. And that's something that we have really, really taken to heart with this feature. And making sure that those animations and all those different interactions feel real, they feel reliable, and they feel elegant. So hopefully folks saw that. And I don't know if anybody has any questions, but I'll stop there.
I love how they follow your finger. Like it just feels so good.
Yeah, so the follow your finger animations are something that we released earlier this year. And so what we had to do as part of the Shy Taskbar crew is make sure that we that we respected all of those animations and that everything felt really good with the Shy Taskbar. So yes, I love those too. I use them all the time. I'm constantly like reaching out. Even whenever I'm like in laptop posture, I'm constantly reaching out and like doing those gestures.
Yeah, and I feel like it's also worth noting that like giving a signal that your keyboard's detached or that we've gone into tablet posture is something that we already did in last year's release, right? So the taskbar stayed 48 pixels tall, but then the icons got wider. So this is just a natural evolution of that.
Yes, and Jennifer's already said this, but Albert is sort of the core person responsible for all of that, designing that elegance in those animations. So I constantly am like Albert for president because that's the stuff that really, really makes the system shine. And it feels really, really good.
I mean, Oliver and Tony's building it, so I can't really take that credit.
But whenever people are complaining or loving our animations on social media, I'm always like, Albert!
Yeah, please,
like,
please keep
oh
posting
God,
about
I can't unsee this. Like, why did this person share this? No. We talk about
please
it
keep
all.
posting about them. Yeah, please keep posting about them. The good ones feed our ego, which we have very big egos already. But then the bad ones, especially, we need that feedback and we listen to them. So please keep sending them to us.
Yeah, someone actually was just mentioning in the chat that they have a Lenovo Yoga device, and sometimes it will kick off into the touch optimized tablet experience when it shouldn't. And so I was just telling them, yeah, file feedback. You want to hear about when those things happen.
Yeah, we like Oliver can attest to this. Like we're definitely tracking those issues. Oliver, I don't know if you want to share anything on that, but that has been sort of that transition because it's now so obvious whenever you change. Like we're getting to see a lot of these experiences that we don't exactly have right.
And the touch optimized taskbar, it also works on 2-in-1s that don't have necessarily like detachable keyboards, but can fold down into like a fold down like the Surface Laptop Studio, right?
Yeah, and I'm talking to y'all on that right now. Yeah, so we call those convertible devices, like those devices that sort of do gymnastics on themselves, but that don't sort of disconnect. Yes, it works on that way. That's not gymnastics, what you just did.
That's YMCA, but whatever.
Okay. Just...
Jumping jacks.
Should do a backflip. I think that would be more appropriate.
Do you want me to finish the webcast? I don't need an injury. I mean, I've had enough surgeries over the years. So I don't need one at work too. So to the point that Marisa made, like Oliver, like if there's anything you want to comment on in this space, we'd love to hear like any insights that you have, or if there's any special considerations you have to give. I know that having such a visible surface in the OS, there's a lot of other features that either connect in or have dependencies, things of that nature. Anything you want to share in that space, would love to hear about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing to call out is that Tony and I are representing a much larger team of engineers. This has truly been a feature that crosses so many engineering teams, everything from touch input folks to all the different flyout teams. It's been a broad spectrum of teams that we've relied on to get things working, and to the high standard of craftsmanship that Albert holds us to. And so it's just us two here representing that team. But, I just want to call out to all the folks back in the office that have kind of helped us deliver this, again, gotten this far with it. And, you know, like Marisa said, there's still bugs, but we're tracking those. We're trying to fix it. We're trying to really hold this to a high bar. Yeah.
I was just saying that in the chat, I love, like, on my Surface Pro 9, when I read comics, I love how it just transitions the taskbar when I fold the keyboard back, and just it immerses me in my reading experience, and it cuts out a lot of the distractions. And so I absolutely, like, it's night and day. I love it.
Especially on those on smaller. I have a Surface Pro 6 that I use, and it's just nice to just get some screen real estate back.
Yep.
Like, you know, I've used it on my Surface Pro 6 where I will literally go for days where I'm like, where did I put that keyboard? Because now I need it.
Yeah. And I think they're not here, but like there are other teams that have also been trying to work on enhancing the touch experience. Like the touch keyboard has come so far over the years, like making it easier to put emoji. I don't know if you're a touch user, if you join the call because you're a touch user, did you know in Windows 11, like you can hold the space bar and you can like slide your finger along the space bar and it'll move your cursor in a text control. Like that was something added based on feedback to make it easier for you to manipulate stuff with touch. If you notice like the snap layouts at the top of the screen, like part of the reason for that change was helping touch users like learn about Snap faster, use Snap more easily, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and one of my favorite things that we added from a touch gesture perspective is just the ability to swipe up from the bottom right corner to bring up the quick settings so that you can just adjust your brightness and volume. Just if you're using your device as a tablet or just without a keyboard, and you're watching any kind of video, that's been a huge time saver for me. So I'm very glad we built that.
It's interesting how the landing of a design, of a concept, comes to life, because you create something that's very different than how things were done in the past, right? You're trying to optimize the user experience, make things easier, and as you do that, right, there's potentially some things that just like I want to use these little quick actions, right? Well, like what's the easiest way for somebody who's not using a mouse to go in and click and drag and bring things up and everything, right? Just that little gesture, that whoop, and all of a sudden it brings them this ability to go through and change those settings along the way. It's like those little design elements, like the usability and the user experience that gets created from those small changes. It's fascinating, and it's interesting because in the modern day, with the way the actual hardware that we interact with on a daily basis has changed so greatly, right? I will say there's one device I'm using in a side self-host effort that isn't touchscreen. Can I tell you how frequently I go poke and I'm like, oh wait, this device doesn't have a touchscreen, and it's almost become foreign because it's something that we take for granted, of these little gestures and these motions, and you see the way this design works and you get accustomed to using something and you're like, oh yeah, I can't do that because this device doesn't have the physical, like the actual hardware capability of doing that. And so it's nice to know that there is a team of folks that are passionate and dedicated to this space, so that as these changes come along, you're sitting there doing work to deliver a great experience, listening to the feedback, all with this elegant and beautiful design that's kind of kept at the forefront of how you're going to deliver that experience. And yes, of course, it's tough to, the whole phrase is, if you attempt to ship perfect, you'll never ship, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's creating the understanding of, it may not be exactly how everybody wants it right now, but that doesn't mean there isn't more work still ongoing to fix bugs and potentially revise the design or bring in new functionality. That's one of the things that we constantly talk about in the Insider program as we deliver some of these incremental changes along the way, is to keep folks in the know of, well, you asked for this, here's some of it. We're continuing to work. We don't always talk about everything we work on. We gotta keep some secrets, kind of, gotta have something to surprise and delight along the way. But as you can see, like, we really are delivering some of these things that help drive this delightful user experience along the way. I know Brandon's over here working overtime in chat. I'm going to take a moment to kind of scan over here.
I feel like there's a good segue here, Jason, to talk about the system tray changes.
Absolutely, please, by all means. By all means.
I'll let Tony explain those. But yeah, just like your comments about listening to feedback and also what's coming in the WIP build, and maybe Tony, you can kind of explain some of that stuff with respect to the taskbar.
Yeah, well, we've been on a journey. We've heard, one of the first things is that, just getting the lower right rejuved and just really bringing it forward, showing that we're super. We've been hearing feedback. We know people are passionate about down there, and to talk to Oliver's comments. Not only did we represent several teams, right? That in particular, Oliver's team and our team had to work together, basically to start trying to get to where Albert's calling out these animations and things, that we needed to be on the same platform and really coordinate. And so one of the things that you're seeing with this this functionality that Marisa showed you is that it is now in XAML, and we can do fancy animations. We can coordinate between components, and we did not have that before. And so, that's really given, this feature some excitement, because we now can actually do interesting things where before we were spread across different UI platforms and had a lot of trouble just, coordinating and drawing and doing the right set of things. This also, because of this change, it has set us up to move forward and try other things as well. So and it's going to be easier for us and actually have a quicker turnaround as well.
Yeah, I think this is also where like user feedback really kind of came in, right? Like I think like we can paint a vision of how we want to build Windows, but without user feedback of small details that are really important, like making sure that the back plate of like your app icons matches the same shape as the shape in the system tray. Having a lot of that feedback and having people call that stuff out really help drive our engineering resources to be dedicated to fixing stuff like this, right? So like I think everybody knows details matter, and I think it's really about like hearing the right customer voice to urge us and push us in that direction to fix those things.
Yeah, let me ask. There's a question that I want to ask about the actual development process, and I'm hoping I'm not opening up too big of a can of worms, right? Given the way I know, right? Given
what are you gonna ask, Jason?
Apparently, I'm full of random questions that I did it to all of you earlier, and now I'm doing it to the Touch Optimized Taskbar. I'm sorry. Has it been hard making this cutover and how this feature is coded? Right, like as I don't have a developer background, right? So I can't claim expertise in any of the common programming languages or structures or any of that nature, right? So has kind of jumping across this divide of how you code to render the old experience versus some of the changes of how the new experience is delivered. Just as a developer, has it been easy to make that adaptation? Has it been difficult? Like, did you have to learn new things, or is it just, hey, it's been incremental, this kind of lifelong progressive learning type scenario? Just a little bit, like, can you tell me a little bit about your actual experience as a dev going through these changes?
There's definitely been some learning.
Yeah.
I will say that.
I guess I can try to tackle that, and then Tony can jump in if he wants to. I think the coolest thing about working on the taskbar is, well, one, everyone gets to see it, right? But as a dev that works on it, it's been around for a long time, and that's probably one of the largest challenges with it as well. Is the fact that there's a lot of things there that we need to make sure we don't break for users. Like we don't want to compromise the experience. We want to deliver all these things, but we have a very high bar of quality and reliability that we want to keep. And so that's probably the biggest challenge we've run into, I'd say. But is also a interesting problems to solve, right? How do we modernize some of this code base that we have, this infrastructure? How do we bring that into the latest technologies and frameworks and run on the latest devices? Yeah.
Yeah, I think another aspect of it too is just the details that we've, one of the things that when Jason asked that question, Oliver and I go bug Marisa all the time with these, like, well, what should happen, right? And we have had this conversation for probably like a year and a half of just like, hey, I swiped from the right. Does the taskbar come up? And so there's a lot of details that we start thinking about, right? About like, does the taskbar come up, with that gesture, or, again, and there's differences, and then these nuances matter. And you start finding out too that just working through the details of different surfaces, right? Between the widgets pane versus the start pane versus, quick settings, and trying to make sure that we're all doing the right thing. And you get one of the things I would call out too is getting the right behavior, right? And it's consistent. And again, Oliver and I bug Marisa all the time with these questions around, hey, what should happen here, right? And, oh, no, we need to go talk to the start group because they need to do the same thing, right? And so that has been a very large part of this development cycle that we've been doing with. And so, and I think it's definitely, as you see as Marisa demoed that, I think that's where you see the result of that coming out, right? It seems consistent, it flows, and it does the right thing.
Yeah, and I think that's the crux of why I asked the question is, like between the answers that both of you gave, it really underscores that, there's this legacy of Windows of, all these interdependencies, right? And then in attempting to deliver this, I'll just call it beauty, right? Because the facelift that was given from the shift from Windows 10 to Windows 11 was nothing shy of this beautiful, just I don't have the right words to say it, but I think folks probably understand the point that I'm kind of bumbling my way towards at this moment. And I will really just kind of put an underline on, there's functionality you want to keep, there's an experience you want to deliver, and how do you toe that very fine line between keeping things working, delighting users, while bringing them on this journey, this adventure, really, of how things are kind of evolving into the future. And you made a great point about how hardware is evolving, right? 10 years ago, like, nobody was worried about swiping in from the right and doing this. And if you press on the screen, like if you look at some of like the Surface demos that have happened in the past, they talk about the pin and how much pressure are you putting with the pin onto the screen and things like that. All of this matters now. And 10 years ago, it wasn't even really part of the conversation. It was, hey, what if we invented hardware that let us do this other cool stuff? How do we enable users to interact more deeply with the device? And here we are 10 years later having this conversation. And it just opens the door to what conversation are we going to have 10 years from now? It's going to be drastically different. But hopefully we'll still have the opportunity to be sitting here together discussing some of the design changes, some of the challenges, the feedback that's being taken in, and reflect to this moment, which will be 10 years in the past, to say, can you realize, like, were we really just talking about this? Because while it's awesome and like it's an overwhelming change at this point, 10 years from now, we're going to be like, we've come a long way. And hopefully we have the opportunity to have that conversation once again. Sorry, I got a little sappy there.
Amen. I love that.
It's just, I love watching technology evolve over the course of time. And, if to harken back to some of what, Jen and Brandon and Amanda and I were talking about at the beginning of this episode, when we were talking about things that we've watched change over the past year and things we're looking forward to in the coming year, right? It's, every year when October rolls around, it becomes this like moment of reflection of, what have we accomplished in the past year? What all has happened in the space of Windows? What have we done collectively as a team? What do we want to accomplish in the coming year? And there's always more to go and do. There's always more feedback to listen to. There's always more customers to engage with. There's hopefully more webcasts to do along the way, right? I love doing these, and hopefully y'all have enjoyed this as well, right? I know, Brandon and Jim, we've been doing this for 5+ years at this point, right? It doesn't even seem like it's been that long, but it has.
I lost gray hair back then.
I still didn't have hair back then, and I still don't have it now, so I guess that didn't change.
I have enough hair that I could share my hair with you if you really wanted more hair. You can't tell, it's in a bun. There's a lot.
Oh my goodness. So let me take a moment. I know we're almost at the top of the hour, so I know we're close to wrapping here, but I want to make sure, Brandon, I know you've been like zipping around in chat. I've been watching the messages fly by out of the corner of my eye. Were there any questions that should be kind of either shared back with the team, things we want to talk about kind of openly, or did most of it get tackled just kind of in chat along the way?
I didn't see any direct questions come through. I mean, we had one question which is really good, but I don't know if we can answer it here about just like what's next for Touch in Windows. So like Jason, in the future, maybe we do a webcast that brings together a group of people who are doing work in Windows on Touch to talk about just Touch in general. There was a few comments from folks who have been playing with the Touch Optimized Taskbar experience and talking about how they're filing feedback, which was really awesome to hear. But no like direct questions really on the experience so far.
All right. I'm going to type something in the chat real quick, because I told folks at the beginning of the episode I was going to link them to our Twitter account as well as to the answers forum. And I don't want to clack, clack, clack on my keyboard because I know how sensitive my mic is. So I'm going to mute myself for just a moment while I type this out.
While he's muted.
Click, 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 click.
Yeah, he uses a mechanical keyboard. It's really loud. Just picture it being really clacky. While he's muted, I guess I'll say, periodically on Twitter and Reddit and everywhere, like I have people asking me, should I file feedback about this? And like, from my perspective, it doesn't matter if it's an actual bug or you're unhappy with the design. You should always file feedback. Like, one of the examples of one of the changes we made with the Windows 11 22H2 update, if you'll notice in the quick settings area, there is an icon you can use to switch your current audio endpoint. And that's something that we had in the original Windows 11 release. But we started getting a bunch of feedback to be like, why can't I do this anymore in Windows 11? And we were like, you can. It's right there. But people weren't discovering it, and they were giving us feedback that they weren't able to discover it or wanted us to add it back or whatever. So like with the 22H2 update, what we did was we added an icon that shows a representation of your currently connected audio device, and it achieved two goals. Like one, you don't have to dig as far to see that now, and two, it helped people make it a lot more obvious to people that option was just even there in quick settings. And it seems successful. Like I've seen tweets like, oh yay, you finally added this with the 22H2 update. And we were like, sort of. We improved it based on your feedback. Like, it's all you. Like, your feedback really does help with all of this stuff.
Yep. And that's why we harp on that so much. And harp's not the right word. That's why we encourage it so much, right? Is because, the insights and the care that you put into previewing these builds, running these builds, sharing the feedback, the time that you invest, we want to put that time to good use, and hearing your voice is super important. And that's why we come back and have sessions like this to show you the commitment that we're making to you as insiders, right, to the program as a whole. And of course, we love having the opportunity to have guests such as, the Touch Optimized Taskbar folks, and, representing the system tray as well. Like, to have these folks come here and actually get to talk about what they're working on day in and day out. And Albert, I did not forget about you on the design side, right? I know you've got your hands in a bunch of different cookie jars. It's the amount of folks that come together to deliver this on a daily basis is, I can't tell you how many folks it is. I'll just say it's a lot. And every single one of the people working on this has passion for the space that they're working in. So I'll just say once again, thank you so very much. I know we're a few minutes over time, and I do want to be respectful because I know there's calendars and more meetings and all this other fun stuff to go on. So, Marissa,
sorry.
Oliver, Albert, Tony, any last parting words? I'm not putting you on the spot. Just anything else you'd like to add as we wrap up here?
It's been super fun. Thank you for having us on. And yes, the feedback. We look at the feedback too. Of course, we look at it all the time. So yes, please file, and thank you for having us. This has been really fun.
Awesome. Well, with that, I will just say to the insiders that are in attendance, and if you're not an insider, go join the program, right? Insider.windows.com. Go check out the page. You'll find all the details about the program, how it works, the different channels we have available. You can connect it on any of the machines that you have that are capable of running Windows 11. And if you still have a Windows 10 machine, you can also join the release preview program there as well. We'll still take insight and feedback for that space additionally. But with that, I will say once again, thank you to all of the guests, Brandon and Jen, and Amanda, who was here earlier. I know she's not here for the close, but just a big heartfelt thank you to everyone once again. And again, thank you to all the insiders for making the time to come and join us. We will catch you on the next episode. And in the meantime, hit us up. We're on Reddit, we're on Twitter, we're on the Answers Forum. Yeah, there's plenty of places to find us. Stay tuned to the insider newsletters in your inbox. That's where we share all the great news month over month. And with that, we will wrap. And so until next time, y'all.